more people choose Good Morning Maine.
Good morning, everyone. Coming up, the body of a Maine lobsterman has been recovered from the coast of Maine. We'll have the details. Plus, the Maine DOT is stepping up efforts to improve safety in Maine's work zones. And we'll also take you to a meeting in Bangor where officials are considering expanding the city's workforce as part of Bangor's budget next year. We'll have the details on that as well. Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Janessa Bishop has the day off. We'll have all the day's news coming up over the next hour. But first, to check with that forecast, the weekend is finally upon us. It looks like after we get through one more gloomy day that will include maybe a little rain, it looks like the weekend's shaping up pretty nicely. It's certainly going to be brighter and the temperature is just a little bit warmer. Maybe you can even get out in the garden and do some work. Here's Devin Biggs with a first look at our forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast. Family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go. This morning, no advisories in effect. We're going to be watching for some rain and possibly a few snow showers, at least during the morning period. We'll switch over to a few rain showers coming up throughout the daytime period as temperatures get above freezing. So let's zoom things out. The culprit is a little area of low pressure that will be moving away. So again, a few sprinkles of light rain showers possible this afternoon. This morning, a few light snow showers can't be ruled out before that switches over to rainfall. So here's Futurecast picking up on that activity. It will be backing off later on tonight with the clouds breaking up as well. So some gusty winds possible today too, reaching up to about 20 miles per hour. We'll see the winds relaxing overnight, and even once we head towards tomorrow, we may see the winds picking up a little bit, but not the worst, around 15 miles per hour, a little bit higher further off towards the east. So your hourly forecast moving forward, again, we have clouds, some sprinkles or light rain showers, maybe a few snowflakes early on with temperatures rising into the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig?
Sounds good. We'll look forward to that. Thank you, Devin. Well, first this morning, authorities say the body of a missing fisherman from Steuben has been found. According to the Maine Marine Patrol, the body of 63-year-old Thomas West was recovered from the waters of Dyer Bay near his 35-foot lobster boat called Aces of Eights. Officials say West was reported missing at about 9 p.m. on Tuesday after local fishermen discovered his boat was running with no one on board. Marine Patrol launched a search that night using a remotely operated vehicle in the water, but they suspended the search around 2:30 a.m. Wednesday because of low visibility. They planned to resume the search efforts yesterday, but the Marine Patrol was notified that West's body had been discovered by family members and was transferred to a relative's fishing boat. His body has now been transferred to the medical examiner's office in Augusta, where they'll try to determine a cause of death. In other news, a man from Rome, Maine, has been indicted on a dozen felony charges by a Kennebec County grand jury. 79-year-old David Allen Henry stands accused of attempted murder and multiple counts of elevated aggravated assault, along with unlawful sexual contact and gross sexual assault. Court documents say he attempted to cause a woman's death by strangulation and hit her in the head repeatedly with a baseball bat. Documents also show that the unlawful sexual contact and gross sexual assault charges stem from alleged incidents where they say Henry subjected victims younger than 12 or 14 to sexual contact or sexual acts. A Bangor man has been arrested for two separate incidents that happened within hours of each other. It was just after noon on Thursday when police were called to the intersection of Broadway and State Street for a man who was walking in traffic and throwing a hand tool at a vehicle. Police say the driver chased 52-year-old Robert Burt, who dropped a medication bottle with his name on it as he ran away. Bangor police later received a report about a stolen vehicle, and security video at that scene revealed Burt was also responsible for that. Police then received a report that the stolen vehicle was located in Brewer, and that's where Burt was arrested. He's now charged with theft by unauthorized taking, operating after suspension, along with criminal mischief. Two Pittsfield residents are now facing charges after a months-long investigation into drug trafficking in the Pittsfield-Canaan area. Maine DEA says 44-year-old Joshua Johnson of Pittsfield was arrested yesterday after authorities obtained an arrest warrant for him after they say undercover agents bought fentanyl from him on multiple occasions. His residence on the Canaan Road was searched. He now faces multiple aggravated drug trafficking charges. 28-year-old Samantha Quimby was also arrested during that process. She's from Pittsfield and was picked up on outstanding warrants for theft, operating after suspension, along with bail violations. Both were taken to the Somerset County Jail. A case of vandalism involving a centuries-old tree has upset a local community. Gail White of the Orono Land Trust says they discovered a couple of days ago that someone had spray painted the big old tree in the Jeremiah Colburn Natural Area of the Land Trust. She says this area is truly sacred to them since the area and the tree were what inspired the creation of the Land Trust. She says the paint is extremely harmful to the tree as it seeps into the bark, blocks the tree's oxygen intake, and also eliminates the tree's ability to release carbon dioxide. She says the tree is a central figure and an iconic part of the trust since 1986 and has never been purposely damaged before.
I would swear half the town has been out to see that tree and taken their kids, and they've climbed them, and a lot of people our age remember climbing it when they were kids, and my kids, my grandkids have gone out, and it's just disheartening.
She says the Land Trust is researching the best and least impactful ways to remove the paint from the tree with hopes of rejuvenating it. There's a sigh of relief in the town of Winslow, where the police department say they have found Zachary Crothers. The Winslow Police Department says he was found between 9 and 10 on Thursday morning and that he's doing okay. The 24-year-old went missing on Sunday afternoon, prompting police to ask those who live in the area to check their security cameras and to keep their eyes open. Authorities say Crothers has developmental disabilities and his family was very concerned. We're sure that they're breathing a little easier this morning. As part of National Work Zone Awareness Week, the Maine Department of Transportation is urging drivers to slow down and stay alert in work zones. Our Alex Schley spent the day in Bangor with a crew at the Broadway Street overpass, where the margin for error is razor thin.
In many active work zones across Maine, crews worked just feet from traffic.
Standing on the line of cones that divides the work zone from the traffic, and traffic was still flying at 65, 70, and you got 18-wheelers 2 to 3 feet off your backside.
When you see a cone, think people. That's a message driving this year's Work Zone Awareness Week in Maine.
When you get into kind of the more downtown areas like this in Bangor, we're dealing with a lot of traffic. We got about 20,000 cars in each direction.
In Maine work zones, speed limits drop to 55 miles per hour or lower, but workers say many drivers aren't getting the message. According to a 2025 study by Maine Transportation Authority, 95% of drivers speed through work zones, with 42% traveling more than 21 miles per hour over the limit.
Everybody has a place to be. They want to get there on time, but at the same rate, we're out here trying to make sure that the transit in this state is safe and good for the future.
And for some workers, the consequences can be deadly. In January, 2 Maine DOT workers were struck and killed on an overpass in Waterville. Crews say they're working to do their part to stay safe on the job.
Obviously, we wear reflective gear. Like in a job site like this, we're sitting behind barrier to make sure that traffic can't come in where it's not supposed to.
But even with those safeguards in place, workers say safety ultimately comes down to drivers paying attention. So don't drive distracted, keep your eyes on the road, and pay attention. That is as easy as it sounds. It might just save a life. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
There are 140 homes on Newbury Neck Peninsula in Surrey, but when a storm washes away a section of its main road, it puts first responder access at risk. Well, that's why one select board member was shocked to learn that residents turned down a project to prevent such damage from happening again. Our Doug Banks has the story.
There were many roads across Maine that suffered severe damage during the winter storms of 2023 and 2024. This section of Newbury Neck Road in Surrey being one of them. 4 storms between December of 2023 and March of 2024 inflicted $400,000 worth of damages on Surrey. But when the town received federal funding to construct a more storm-resistant crossing through Carrying Place Beach, Residents voted against it.
Different people had different thoughts about it.
A visit to Newbury Neck Peninsula could include a stop by Perry's Lobster Co. while seeing a different side of Mount Desert Island.
It's a special place for Surrey.
The peninsula is flanked by Morgan Bay and Union River Bay. In the middle is the town's only public beach.
The beach is the pinch point,
which he says is susceptible to erosion when storm surges and high tide combine. It's a reason why in September of 2022, a town-formed committee determined it was an asset worth saving. The road is currently 8.9 feet above sea level. A reconstruction project would have added 3 to 6 feet to it. Stark says the town was able to obtain $2.9 million in congressionally directed spending. A 25% town match would have been required, but Stark says plans were in place to use state grants before even considering touching taxpayer dollars. Which is why Stark says it was an unexpected turn of events when the Newbury Neck Peninsula storm evacuation project was turned down by residents on a recent referendum ballot by a 240 to 178 vote. Why? Stark suggests it could have come down to costs and aesthetics.
4 years of research and listening to people identify it as one of our top 5 priorities in town to come up with a solution, and now, our hands are tied.
In Surrey, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And the time now is 8:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Bangor begins the process of coming up with a city budget for the coming year, and several departments say they need more employees. We'll have the story. But first, another look at that forecast. A cloudy day ahead today with a chance of rain and snow. High temperatures around 45 degrees. Mostly clear tonight with lows dropping down to the upper 20s. Tomorrow, a partly cloudy day with highs near 55. We'll be right back.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Meet the toughest team in the game. Bad Boy Mowers and Bad Boy Tractors. These powerhouses will do whatever it takes to win. Putting in the work with unrivaled engineering, game-changing features like heated seats and an Alpine entertainment system, plus durable implements and style that's in a league of its own. Bad Boy Mowers and Tractors. Power, performance, attitude.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a 5th-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
Congratulations, you have built the perfect line. I'm Deborah Norville, and this is the perfect line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after.
This is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
The City of Bangor is starting the process of ironing out their budget for 2027. Our Callie Warren has the details.
It's the first of many budget meetings for the City of Bangor. This early on, the budget remains very much still in that proposal stage. However, it does encompass a little bit of everything from addressing staffing shortages to improving the local library.
We're actually saving money by investing in those positions.
The biggest changes proposed for Bangor's 2027 budget involve strengthening staffing by hiring more support staff for the clerk and treasury department. Additionally, requests have been made by both the city manager and the Bangor fire chief to add an emergency management director to improve disaster response in situations such as severe storm damage, flooding, and infrastructure issues.
When you get to a larger level of municipal responsibilities that have to take place, that position and positions similar to it become increasingly more vital to the well-being and future of the cities.
Furthermore, the Bangor Public Library is requesting a budget increase of just over $250,000. They say they're seeing an increase in unacceptable behavior, issuing more suspensions from the library, and that ARPA funding is coming to an end to fund their social workers position, a resource that both the library and individuals in the community rely on.
The libraries have always been that kind of place where people cross paths from different walks of life. Connecting people to services helps people move out of that public space and have a private space as well, something that people also need. And that's part of why it's important to have a social worker in the library.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, the Society for Science is a nonprofit in Washington, D.C. that is now awarding more than $110,000 in STEM research grants to 41 educators in 16 states. And a teacher in Dover Foxcroft is one of the recipients. Jonathan Dumont of the Sotomocha Middle School up in Dover teaches 8th grade physical science and also leads the school's science fair. He was awarded a grant of $2,200 to expand hands-on STEM learning. Dumont said, quote, grant funding will be used to establish freshwater and saltwater tanks for growing mussels and other bivalves. It will also support rearing algae, monitoring water quality, and measuring bacterial growth. In the future, an extracurricular club for 7th graders will also use the equipment to conduct high-quality science fair projects and build connections with the local environment and our community. What a great opportunity. An EMMC employee who intervened to help save a missing autistic child is now being praised by the Brewer Police Department. Here is Sergeant Nickerson awarding Trista Burchill with the Brewer PD Challenge Coin yesterday. Burchill had been working on the 3rd floor of Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center when she saw a young child playing on the riverbank of the Penobscot River near Indian Trail Park close to the water. That's right across the river from the hospital. She called police, and Brewer Police and Fire responded. It had been discovered that an 8-year-old autistic child was missing from the home, and Sergeant Nickerson coordinated the police response, which included officers deploying to Indian Trail Park, the Conservation Club, and Treats Falls Dam. The officers moved over very rough terrain with the assistance of Brewer Fire Department, and they eventually found the child and reunited it with its mother. The challenge coin was in recognition of Burchill's assistance and willing to get involved. Congratulations to her. We need more people like that. All right, the time now is 8:18. Coming up after the break, a powerful storm system spawns tornadoes in several states, leaving a trail of destruction. We'll have the very latest. Plus, the latest on the war with Iran, including new clues about the status of Iran's new leader. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Bring on the spring at the Honda Spring Event with the 2025 Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
You can't see third-hand smoke, but you may smell it. Third-hand smoke is toxic chemicals left behind by smoking and vaping. These chemicals stick to surfaces in your home and car and linger for years. They're on floors, furniture, toys. Everywhere children and pets touch and play. What you can't see can still cause harm. Protect your family from third-hand smoke. Visit mainequitlink.com to learn the risks.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
John Brown first opened his own appliance store in Ellsworth in 1976. With his gift of storytelling, a strong work ethic, and a philosophy of putting others first, John and his wife and children saw the business prosper and grow. Today's third and fourth generation of family and their entire team continue to follow the example set by their grandparents and parents. Brown Appliance and Mattress, High Street, Ellsworth, a family tradition of quality, value, and customer service that always puts you first.
Bring on the spring at the Honda Spring Event with the 2025 Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
Tornadoes in the plains, with the worst damage being reported in northern Oklahoma. A huge twister roaring through the city of Enid, where officials say at least 10 people were injured. The full extent of damage won't be known until daylight. There have been at least 17 reported twisters from Iowa all the way to Oklahoma, which had the most destructive ones by far. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Overnight, this massive tornado slamming Enid, Oklahoma. Officials warning residents to take cover.
It was weird. You could feel the tornado. You could feel it in your chest. It was a rumble that, I mean, I'm never going to forget this because, when they say it sounds kind of like a freight train, that's true.
Multiple homes destroyed. One neighborhood completely leveled.
I'm at a loss for words right now at what I'm seeing on TV right here. This is as bad as it can get.
Emergency crews launching search and rescue operations for people trapped under debris.
It's kind of a nightmare right at the moment. There are injuries. I'm aware of that.
While several injuries have been reported, most are described as minor, but the scale of the damage still being determined.
We won't know the true extent of the damage here until the sun comes up. We're expecting to see a lot more, but right now we can tell you power lines are down throughout the area. Power is lost in many places. Many people seeking shelter for the night, unable to return home.
Meanwhile, across the southeast, a different weather extreme. Wildfires intensifying in Georgia. More than 30 new fires breaking out in one day, prompting new evacuations. Nearly 90 homes destroyed, more than 1,000 at risk.
It's very heartbreaking to see our neighbors going through what they're going through, but we're out here doing what we can do, pulling together as a community.
The fires fueled by extreme drought with no significant rainfall in sight. Drought also impacting parts of the plains and Texas. In Corpus Christi, Texas, the main water reservoirs are sitting nearly empty. Officials warn the city could face a full-scale water emergency by September. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
We could certainly use some more rain around here, too, to help with the drought conditions. It looks like some areas may receive a little wet stuff today and then a brighter weekend ahead. Here's Devin Biggs with your full forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast, family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go this morning. Wave heights very relaxed at around 2 to 3 feet, according to the buoys, and farther off towards the north and east, not looking too bad either. Farther off towards the south and east at around 5 feet, according to the buoys as well. So overall, the ocean looking very relaxed this morning. We have no advisories in effect on land. Just a little bit of precipitation trying to develop this morning with an area low pressure right nearby. We may get a few snowflakes this morning, switching over to sprinkles or light rain showers this afternoon as temperatures rise above freezing. Those snowflakes may accumulate a little bit early on before temperatures again warm above freezing. So there's the activity. The bigger map that we're looking at. Anything more is across parts of the Midwest, but for us, again, we're looking pretty good. So again, we may see a few snowflakes early on today and farther down toward the south becoming rainfall. Again, this is what we're looking at. Again, becoming more rain chances as we get temperatures warming up. Everything backs off later on tonight, and even as we head towards tomorrow, a nice one on the way. Just some clouds developing, and even once we head towards Saturday night, still looking really good. The clouds staying at bay for the most part, and even by your Sunday, still looking really good. Any snow accumulation is very minimal, and it will melt very quickly with temperatures getting above freezing, and any rain accumulations, again, looking rather minimal as well, not even 1/10 of an inch. So whatever we see today won't be a big deal at all. So again, new drought monitor out, and this is what we wanted to see, major improvement in the drought monitor. Still seeing severe drought to the south and west, but this is wonderful to see finally some improvement in the drought monitor. So for today, mostly cloudy. I'm going rain and snow showers, but more rain showers than anything else, with highs in the mid-40s and that north wind at around 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, we have upper 20s, mostly clear with that north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have mid-50s under a partly cloudy sky and that north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store, showing a mostly cloudy sky coming up for your Sunday with highs in the low 60s, with mid-60s coming up for your Monday under a partly cloudy sky. Still mid-60s Tuesday, also partly cloudy.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Lights, camera, cheese! The Cheese House is looking for its next star, and it could be you. If you're 21 or older, enter for your chance to appear in the next commercial. Stop by the Cheese House at 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield to enter. While you're there, browse their huge selection of glassware and 420 specialty foods. But we have the cheese! Remember, entries are happening in person at the Cheese House, 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield. Bring your personality, bring your smile, and we have the cheese.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
Everyone deserves to be connected. Big cities, small towns, everywhere in between. And staying connected shouldn't break the bank. That's why T-Mobile and US Cellular have joined forces. And now that we've combined networks, T-Mobile covers more places than ever before. America's best network just got bigger. Join now and your plan price is guaranteed for 5 years. T-Mobile and US Cellular, better together.
Now to the war in Iran and President Trump's latest threat. He's vowing to step up efforts to clear mines from the Strait of Hormuz while ordering the Navy to take aim at mine-laying boats. And we're also getting new details about the head of the Iranian regime. ABC's Marcus Moore has the latest.
This morning, new clues about the condition of Iran's supreme leader, believed to be gravely wounded in the attack that killed his father at the beginning of the war. Sources telling multiple news outlets the new Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei is recovering from severe injuries to his face and legs, but remains mentally sharp, meeting with senior officials. The New York Times reports he needed 3 surgeries on his leg and is waiting for a prosthetic. And his face and lips were burned so badly, it's hard for him to speak, leaving generals of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard to make key decisions.
I don't want to rush myself. I'm not under any pressure whatsoever.
As the war enters its 9th week, President Trump says he feels no pressure to reach a peace deal with Iran. He's ordered the military to shoot and kill boats laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, with more mines reportedly deployed by Iran this week. As the war drags on, polls show Americans frustrated with gas prices, which are up more than $1 per gallon since the conflict began.
If you need more time, does that mean Americans should anticipate spending more on gasoline for the foreseeable future?
For a little while. And you know what they get for that? You know what they get for that? Iran without a nuclear weapon.
Airlines are now raising fares and reducing flights because of rising fuel prices. American Airlines now says it plans to spend an extra $4 billion on jet fuel this year.
And no new peace talks are scheduled here in Pakistan, but there is an encouraging development on the other front in this war. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to extend the fragile ceasefire there for 3 more weeks. Marcus Moore, ABC News, Islamabad, Pakistan.
Meanwhile, a new flotilla is preparing to try and deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza amid fears of an interception by the Israeli military. Several pro-Palestinian activists gathered in an Italian port city on Thursday as the global Samud flotilla prepares to set sail for Gaza. This after its last initiative, made up of almost 50 vessels, was stopped by the Israeli Navy in October. Israel at the time said the interception was part of its naval blockade enforcement of Gaza, adding that the flotilla, which it accused of being funded by Hamas, was, quote, not a humanitarian mission, but a political one. But despite fears, organizers say the new flotilla will be the largest yet, made up of more than 70 boats and 1,000 people from around the world. Participants say they hope the mission will revive attention to the Palestinians in Gaza, as focus has largely shifted toward the war with Iran.
Compared to 5-6 months ago, we have even more reasons to set sail. What the Palestine people have been telling us for years now is that the death of international law there is something that concerns us all.
Organizers say the flotilla's departure date has not yet been set. Meanwhile, a crackdown on the Mexican mafia as federal authorities arrest more than 24 members and associates in Southern California. The U.S. Attorney's Office says several search and arrest warrants were executed on Thursday during an early morning operation in about 30 locations, mostly in Orange County, located south of Los Angeles. 43 people, including those already in custody, have been indicted on charges that include murder, kidnapping, extortion, running an illegal gambling operation, and drug trafficking. According to prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office, they also said they seized several illegal weapons, drugs, and cash in Thursday's raids, and that the operation titled Gangsta Paradise is aimed at dismantling the illegal activities.
We have seized a sobering amount of drugs and weapons. 25 firearms, tens of thousands of dollars in cash, 4 kilos of fentanyl, 120 pounds of methamphetamine, 3 kilograms of cocaine, 2 pounds of heroin, and again, 5,000 fentanyl pills.
While 43 people are already in custody, the First Assistant U.S. Attorney, Bill Azalea, said that the operation is looking to target a total of 47 members in all. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, Maine Bureau of Motor Vehicles launches a new mobile unit that will help provide services to Maine's rural areas. We'll tell you how it will all work as Good Morning Maine continues.
We've got a 100-year-old company here, and it's because of the service, the quality, and the experience. It gets done right.
I think we've been doing it for so long. The only thing that we do, that when we walk into a room, we automatically know how to treat that window. We can take any product that the customer's looking for and make it work in just about any situation that they present us with. So
there's no reason to be overwhelmed. No. We can help you through it.
We're not going anywhere. We've been around for 100 years.
At Toyota, we believe longevity is the true measure of affordability. The longer something lasts, the further your money goes. So with Toyota being the longest lasting brand, your money goes the furthest. Now, during our longest lasting value event, you could get a $179 a month lease on a fuel-sipping Corolla gas sedan with an $11,264 total contract cost and 2 years no-cost maintenance. See your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, April 24th, 2026, and it is also National Screen Day. It may sound silly, but this day has its merits. In today's busy world, it's easy to get overwhelmed, feel pressure and an anxiety, and that's why it's important to find ways to release that tension. Many psychologists are convinced that there's nothing like a good old scream to let it all out. So feel free to go and scream today. All right, time for history. It was on this day back in 1800, the Library of Congress was first established, which has become the National Library for the United States. In 1916, Irish Republicans launched the Easter Rising, a rebellion against British rule. Though the rebels had surrendered to British forces 6 days earlier, the uprising set the stage for Republican victories in the upcoming election and eventually led to the establishment of the Irish Free State. In 1960 on this date, rioting erupted in Biloxi, Mississippi after black protesters staged a wade-in at a whites-only beach. They were attacked by a crowd of hostile white people. In 1962, MIT set a TV signal by satellite for the first time. And in 1990, the Space Shuttle Discovery blasted off while carrying the $1.5 billion Hubble Space Telescope. The telescope has provided important data on the expansion of the universe, distant galaxies, and more. And it continues to send back data these decades later. All right, for birthdays today, they include singer and TV host Kelly Clarkson, who is 44. Iconic singer Barbara Streisand is 84 today. And actor Joe Carey from Stranger Things is 34 years old. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today. We hope you have a great day. It's going to be kind of a gloomy day weather-wise, but things will be brightening up through the weekend. Sunday looks fantastic. Let's turn things back over to Devin.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast. Family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go. This morning, no advisories in effect. We're going to be watching for some rain and possibly a few snow showers, at least during the morning period. We'll switch over to a few rain showers coming up throughout the daytime period as temperatures get above freezing. So let's zoom things out. The culprit is a little area of low pressure that will be moving away. So again, a few sprinkles of light rain showers possible this afternoon. This morning, a few light snow showers can't be ruled out before that switches over to rainfall. So here's Futurecast picking up on that activity. It will be backing off later on tonight with the clouds breaking up as well. So some gusty winds possible today too, reaching up to about 20 miles per hour. We'll see the winds relaxing overnight, and even once we head towards tomorrow, we may see the winds picking up a little bit, but not the worst, around 15 miles per hour, a little bit higher further off towards the east. So your hourly forecast moving forward, again, we have clouds, some sprinkles or light rain showers, maybe a few snowflakes early on with temperatures rising into the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig?
Sounds good. Thank you, Devin. The Bureau of Motor Vehicles is taking some of its services on the road. On Thursday, the BMV and the Secretary of State's office launched a mobile branch that aims to make services more accessible for people living in rural areas. Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
The Bureau of Motor Vehicles is going mobile. The BMV Mobile Branch is a portable unit that will travel to rural areas without direct services,
ensuring accessible, convenient customer service for every Mainer in our state.
According to Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, for many Mainers, the nearest BMV branch is over an hour away. This unit aims to eliminate that burden.
When people are having to take off half a day or a whole day from work just to get their BMV services. So we really wanted services that would go to where the customers are.
The unit is designed to offer the most popular and common services, such as address and name changes, learner's permit services, and issuing driver's license and state ID services and real IDs. Lawmakers say this project received bipartisan support in the Maine legislature to secure funding and move this initiative forward.
I'm not sure that we'd ever see this in my district, but in more rural Maine, it certainly is a game changer for people.
It will also travel to sites like senior living facilities and veterans' homes. Bellows says this mobile branch could reshape the future of the BMV.
We'll always have a branch that you know where it is, you can go there 5 days a week, but having the convenience of service that comes to you, I think is part of the future of the B&B.
The mobile unit will launch in Belfast, Holton, Dover Foxcroft, and Machias before expanding to other communities in the coming weeks. In Augusta, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And when we come back, Jack Webb will have all the day sports news, and some special guests will tell us about a fun event that's coming up to the Gracie Theater. Don't go away.
With Maine's largest network of parts, Coastal Auto Parts keeps things moving. If it's got wheels and an engine, we've got the parts to keep it on the road and the drive to help more families in Maine. April is Autism Awareness Month, and Autos for Autism is back. That means you can join your local Napa Auto or Truck Care Center and your Coastal Auto Parts location to help families living with autism right here in Maine. Because serving our community is what keeps us going. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Kirk Fisher is a motorcycle attorney with first responder experience. He protects fellow riders and those in danger, fighting fires and fighting for your rights. Experienced, determined, and dedicated. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Look for motorcycles, or Kirk Fisher will be looking for you.
Hey! That ought to do it.
Who hurt you?
Do you own a business or nonprofit in the state of Maine? Annual reports can now be filed online. All business and nonprofit entities on file with the Secretary of State's office must file an annual report to maintain a good standing status. The annual filing deadline is June 1. Questions? Contact the Corporations Division at 207-624-7752 or cec.corporations@maine.gov. Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Fox UFL Friday. The reigning champion DC Defenders, the League Dynasty Birmingham Stallions. Tonight at 8 Eastern on Fox.
Welcome back in, folks. On Tuesday, the Maine baseball team scored their first win over a nationally ranked opponent since 2018. Our Max Sturm caught up with the Black Bears to chat about it.
We played a complete game against a really good baseball team, and that's where the excitement lays for me.
March 2nd, 2018. That was the last time the Maine baseball team defeated a nationally ranked opponent. That was until Tuesday, when the Black Bears traveled to Brighton, Massachusetts to battle with number 22 Boston College, who they bested by a score of 6-4. Maine took an early lead in the first inning when freshman Troy Carpenter hit a ball deep into center field and then extended that lead when he hit a single home run in the third.
That was big. I feel like we shut them down after that. I was glad that I was able to help the team out, secure the W, and everyone stepped up and did their jobs.
The Eagles would crawl back and tie the game going into the ninth inning. That's when graduate student Juju Stevens stepped up to the plate, awaited the pitch, and crushed the ball deep into left field for a 2-run home run, giving Maine a 6-4 lead.
I felt awesome. That one's probably one of my top college moments for sure. It felt good. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to put my skills on display and have it come into fruition right there.
I mean, he's an excellent baseball player. I mean, we have some guys that have been able to come up big in late innings, and he obviously did it and has done it.
With the bottom of the ninth still looming, it was up to senior pitcher Sebastian Holt to close the game. And with 2 outs on the board, Holt finalized the score sheet.
Those are the moments that I love being in. I love playing against good competition. I relish that. So it was just a good feeling to do my job.
After an exciting win, the Black Bears still have business to handle this weekend, as America East rival UMBC makes the trip up to Orono.
It's business as usual for us, and that's the way we're going to be able to continue the momentum.
We're just going to do what we did, do what we do.
This is going to be a big momentum series for us. I think Energy is going to win this weekend.
In Orono, Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports.
Heading back down to Boston now, where the Bruins and Sabres moved the series to the Garden after leaving Buffalo with the series tied 1-1. Game 3 on Thursday night. We pick it up in the second period. Bruins on the breakout, and Tanner Jeannot fires it through the traffic to open the scoring and take the lead. Later that period, watch this one, a Sabres player is going to snap their stick in their own zone. Arvidsson makes a heads-up play, but he's tripped on the breakaway to draw a penalty shot, the fourth penalty shot of this playoffs. But his 1-on-0 opportunity would be denied with a blocker save from Alex Lyon, and the game stays tied 1-0. A minute later, Sabres on the attack. Bowen Byram is left all alone on the dot. He fires the shot at the net, deflects off Hagens, and gets past Jeremy Swayman to tie the game. Then in the third, the Sabres would take the lead following this Alex Tuck wicked wrister as the Sabres take game 3 by a score of 3-1. Both teams back at it on Sunday for game 4. A pivotal game 4 at that. The Bruins do not want to go back down to Buffalo, down 3-1. With the NFL draft kicking off Thursday night in Pittsburgh, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel announced that he will miss day 3 of the draft to seek counseling. The move stems from pictures showing Vrabel and former NFL reporter Diana Rossini embracing at an adults-only resort in Arizona. Both Vrabel and Rossini are married to other people since then. Older photos of the pair kissing in March of 2020 have emerged. Earlier this week, Vrabel talked about getting help and moving on.
We never want to be the cause of a distraction, and those are comments and questions that I've answered for the team and with the team. We'll keep those private and, to ourselves. I care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them.
The draft did begin on Thursday night, and it started the way we knew it was going to for months as the Raiders were on the clock to kick things off. Las Vegas selected this past year's Heisman winner and national champion Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana with the first overall pick. Mendoza guided the Hoosiers to their first title in program history, putting that program on the map decades after decades of irrelevance, and now has an opportunity to do the same with the Las Vegas Raiders.
The last 5 months has been such a blessing by God, and I can't thank him enough. I'm just looking forward to get to work, prove at the next level. College was fantastic. I'm so blessed to have that career, but now I step into a great game of the NFL. Look forward to proving and earning it every single day.
You're going to the Las Vegas Raiders. What excites you the most about this opportunity?
What a great organization, great legacy. There's so many great teammates I'm looking forward to talking to, coaches, owners. I'm ecstatic for the opportunity.
We'll have more on the draft from you on Friday night. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust. We get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
It's mowing season. And Bad Boy Mowers has the best lineup in the game. Built to win with more power, advanced engineering, and performance that never quits. Whether you're playing on this field or this field. So this mowing season, raise your game and join the team. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
After her accident, Kristen knew where to turn.
The insurance company started to play games, so I called Joe.
The law offices of Joe Bornstein, a serious law firm that doesn't put up with the games or delays from the insurance company.
They know how to get you all the money you deserve, and we got way more than the insurance company said we would. I call that success.
Call Joe, the law offices of Joe Bornstein. Accidents happen to be their specialty.
Tell them you mean business.
At Toyota, we believe longevity is the true measure of affordability. The longer something lasts, the further your money goes. So with Toyota being the longest lasting brand, your money goes the furthest. Now, during our longest lasting value event, you can get $3.99 for $72 on an affordable fuel-sipping all-wheel drive Camry hybrid with a captivating interior and 2 years no-cost maintenance. See your New England Toyota dealer, your hybrid all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust. We get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, we have some special guests joining us this morning to tell us about a fun event that's coming up next month that's going to benefit a wonderful organization. You may want to take part in it yourself. Joining us is Carrie Lemos. You are the Executive Director of Unlimited Solutions Clubhouse. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And you brought Jack Williams along with you, and you're one of the folks that enjoys some of the services of the clubhouse. Thanks to you for coming in too.
The honor's mine.
Yeah. Let's start with you first. Let's tell people a little bit about your organization so they know what it is.
Sure. So Unlimited Solutions Clubhouse is a program for people that are struggling with mental health, such as PTSD, anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, and we help them get back to working, furthering their education or furthering their wellness. We're a service line of Penobscot Community Healthcare.
What kind of services do people come in and
Yeah,
you
so
get a wide range of things?
Totally voluntary. Members come into the clubhouse and they help run the clubhouse. So do things like this, where we're together working side by side, doing everything to run the clubhouse, and therefore they gain skills, gain confidence, and we help support them in the community going back to work, going back to school, or just furthering some of their wellness goals.
Right, help them build, have better, fuller lives in the process.
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you like about, you're one of the folks that goes over there and uses some of these services.
To me, I like the opportunity to be included. Like they appreciate what I do, opportunity to be something more.
Right.
Kind of build my confidence up a little bit. Give me a good sense of self-worth and purpose.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. What kind of things do you do over there?
Well, when I'm not doing interviews, I do answer the phones. I call outreach calls, and I try not to butcher people's names too much.
Yeah.
But you know, every day, you know, I have something different to look forward to. I occasionally do some cleaning, you know, whatever they ask me to do, you know, I'm all for it.
Takes a lot to keep an organization like this running. Also helps if you have a little money to push things along
It
too.
does, absolutely. Yeah, we're funded. We get some funding through Maine Care, but that doesn't support everything that we want to do as an organization to help our members. So we do some fundraising projects.
And you've got one coming up next month at the Gracie Theater at Husson.
We do, Melodies for the Mind. It's a fun night. We have Adam Hatch, who's a comedian, and Main Street R&B Review. They're going to rock the house. So we have silent auction going that night. We also have a softball tournament next weekend, May 2nd and 3rd. So if you know of any teams that want to play.
Where's that going to take place?
Right at Union Street Fields.
Okay.
So a couple of big things coming up for May, which is also Mental Health Month.
Yeah, which is very important indeed. As far as the softball thing goes too, there's a lot of teams out there and they might be looking for something like this to do.
Yeah.
Who do they contact if they want to do it?
Yeah, they can contact the clubhouse at 404-8383 or Bobby O'Donnell, who is big in the softball world. He's helping run this tournament for us next weekend. And then if they want tickets for Melodies for the Mind, check out our website.
Okay, what is the website for people that want to know?
www.unlimitedsolutionsclubhouse.com.
Easy peasy.
Easy.
Yeah, and you'll be there during the big event too?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
This is my first one, and actually my first exposure to Clubhouse was Melodies for the Mind last year.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of cool for me to now be involved in the fundraiser, you know, so I'm just glad to be here.
Must be exciting for you. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't wait to see Adam Hatch, you know, do his thing.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
So,
I like
hey,
to laugh.
thank you both for coming in this morning. We're running out of time, but we hope you get lots of people out for both events coming up. And anytime you need to spread the word on something, you know where to come. We'd love to have you back here.
Well, we really appreciate it, Craig. Thanks for speaking with us this morning.
No problem. All right, we're going to send things back to Devin now for a final look at that forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast, family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go this morning. Wave heights very relaxed at around 2 to 3 feet according to the buoys, and farther off towards the north and east, not looking too bad either. Farther off towards the south and east at around 5 feet according to the buoys as well. So overall, the ocean looking very relaxed this morning. We have no advisories in effect on land. Just a little bit of precipitation trying to develop this morning with an area low pressure right nearby. We may get a few snowflakes this morning, switching over to sprinkles or light rain showers this afternoon as temperatures rise above freezing. Those snowflakes may accumulate a little bit early on before temperatures again warm above freezing. So there's the activity, the bigger map that we're looking at. Anything more is across parts of the Midwest, but for us, again, we're looking pretty good. So again, we may see a few snowflakes early on today and farther down toward the south becoming rainfall. Again, this is what we're looking at. Again, becoming more rain chances as we get temperatures warming up. Everything backs off later on tonight, and even as we head towards tomorrow, a nice one on the way. Just some clouds developing, and even once we head towards Saturday night, still looking really good. The clouds staying at bay for the most part, and even by your Sunday, still looking really good. Any snow accumulation is very minimal, and it will melt very quickly with temperatures getting above freezing, and any rain accumulations, again, looking rather minimal as well. Not even 1/10 of an inch. So whatever we see today won't be a big deal at all. So again, new drought monitor out, and this is what we wanted to see. Major improvement in the drought monitor. Still seeing severe drought to the south and west, but this is wonderful to see. Finally, some improvement in the drought monitor. So for today, mostly cloudy. I'm going rain and snow showers, but more rain showers than anything else, with highs in the mid-40s and that north wind at around 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, we have upper 20s, mostly clear with that north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have mid-50s under a partly cloudy sky and that north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store, showing a mostly cloudy sky coming up for your Sunday with highs in the low 60s, with mid-60s coming up for your Monday under a partly cloudy sky. Still mid-60s Tuesday, also partly cloudy.
See the USA in your Chevrolet.
The best way to see the USA starts in a Chevy SUV. With room for the whole family. Added peace of mind for every mile. And range to take you farther.
Get out there and see the USA, because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 3.9% financing for 60 months on all 2026 Equinox models. Plus, no monthly payments for 90 days.
Visit your main Chevy dealers.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bush, and I know what you're thinking, not another Bush, but hear me out. I'm not a politician or a lobbyist. I'm a veteran, an entrepreneur who created over 900 jobs in Maine. And as governor, I'll take a sledgehammer to Janet Mills' wasteful spending. I'll slash your taxes, property, and income, and put the Democrats' woke policies in the shredder. I'm Jonathan Bush. It's time for a... Johnny, don't touch the shredder!
With over 30 years of experience, Patriot General Contractors knows how to get your home renovation project done right. Our certified contractors can help you build, redesign, or finish the project of your dreams. Check out Facebook page for reviews and visit patriotgeneralcontractors.com to schedule your quote today. Patriot General Contractors, redesigning your properties for the future.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
When every word counts.
Trash panda.
Raccoon.
You had me a trash panda.
That was gangster. It pays to choose wisely.
Wed, Thurs.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You just won it!
25 words or less every weekday.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
You can own sparkling pieces of Michael Jackson memorabilia. Gloves from the King of Pop's Bad Tour, a hat from his sequin jacket from the Victory Tour are among 50 items from the late singer that will go under the hammer near Paris on June 3rd. The Swarovski-encrusted glove was worn during performances of Billie Jean on the Bad Tour. It's estimated to bring in more than $175,000. The sale brings together clothing, stage, costumes, accessories, autographs, and 3 drawings by the singer himself. All the pieces come from a Norwegian collector who spent decades acquiring Jackson memorabilia. And ahead of the auction, the items will be shown to the public during an exhibition at an auction house near Paris on May 30th. June 1st, and also on June 2nd. So if you're a big Michael Jackson fan and you have lots of money, here's your chance to own a little piece of that. Well, that'll do it for this hour. We thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful day and a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday morning.
Today, on 25 Words or Less, he made a one-and-done appearance as himself in Amazon's The Boys. A fact that, until just moments ago, even he had forgotten, is Greg Grunberg. And joining Greg are married couple Perry and Terry. Her single, Sad for Christmas, isn't just for Christmas. It can make you sad year-round. It's Lauren Ash. And joining her are returning champions, college friends, Whitney and Katie. And now here's your host, Meredith Vieira.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Look who just popped up out of nowhere, Lauren Ash.
Hey, Lauren.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank
How are you doing, honey?
I'm doing so well. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, I watch you play this game. You're so competitive at this, so good at this. Were you good at sports as a kid?
Absolutely not. Yeah, no, I played basketball from 7th to 10th grade, and listen, I had no skills whatsoever, but I did actually